After the Texas governor cracked down on border crossings into his state, California saw a massive spike at its border. We've got the numbers. Plus, UCSD tells applicants seeking degrees in computer science, you got to check a couple boxes. Find out what woke criteria they're imposing on computer science degrees now. All that and more coming up. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California, and these are the stories we're tracking today. This first story is not a surprise. In fact, I've talked about how border security has to be both a federal responsibility as well as a state responsibility. Sure, the biggest part is going to be the federal government, the president, supporting Border Patrol agents in securing the border. President Trump's policies were exactly what we needed. The Remain in Mexico policy, the border wall, staffing levels, basically saying that we're not going to do catch and release at the border. All of these things at the federal level were crucial to securing the border. And we need to get that back, well, by capturing the White House in 2024. But we also need governors who will draw a hard stance against illegal immigration. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has done that. Texas does not give welfare benefits out to illegal immigrants. Texas has deployed its state National Guard to the border to help facilitate the securing of border crossings. In Texas, they're doing it right, and it's made a difference. So much so that the coyotes and cartels and human traffickers have decided to move their operations more to California. And again, in California, we offer the illegal immigrants free welfare, free health care at taxpayer expense. We roll out the red carpet. There's all sorts of taxpayer-funded nonprofit organizations. I call them the customer service help desk of the human traffickers, the cartels. But they're there to receive and welcome the illegal immigrants and get them interspersed into our various communities. BBC ran a story just recently. Here's the headline. And again, this is not a surprise for those of you who've been watching this podcast. U.S. migrant crisis shifts from Texas to California border. And in the story, they basically point out everything I just said, that Texas has, as a state government, cracked down on illegal immigration, whereas California has a complete open border policy, and that their governor has made it quite clear that people should come illegally into the country and that they will get all sorts of taxpayer-funded goodies. Here in San Diego, we're seeing the impacts of that. We've got this headline from the New York Post: migrant crossings, or migrants thank Biden for letting them in as Border Patrol's San Diego processing centers reach eye-popping 245% capacity. Again, I would amend that headline to include migrants needing to thank Governor Gavin Newsom for his open border policies. But I see this every day in San Diego. It's not just the crossings at the border on land. We are seeing regularly several boatloads of illegal immigrants washing ashore at our beaches and bays. And they're just literally just jumping out of these boats. And this is a daily occurrence now in San Diego, in the San Diego sector. That massive spike in crossings that we're seeing in the San Diego sector is directly driven by the Texas state government crackdown, which has been quite successful. And again, it just points out, it underscores the importance of having a border policy, not only at the federal level, but the state level. It's one of the reasons why Reform California makes border security one of our key criteria when we endorse candidates for any office, whether it's local office like sheriff, district attorney, city council, or mayor or county board, all the way up to the state assembly and state senate. We need to have state elected officials, state and local elected officials, who are going to be tough on the border and help us combat illegal immigration. We have in San Diego sector 1,812 illegal immigrants currently in custody. But hold on, you got to look at the next sentence. Within 72 hours, they're usually released, And there's been more than 125,000 migrants released onto the streets of San Diego since September. That's more than 20,000 in the last 6 months since September. This is incredible. This is an absolute crisis. 125,000 is the size of the city of Temecula, California. That's 125,000. The size of a large Southern California city is what we're talking about here. And so we cannot absorb that. We cannot sustain that. Let's go on to the next story. This is absurd. And no surprise in woke California that crazy policies are being announced. Remember, they always look at skin color. That's always their determinant. And I believe that this is a backdoor way for them to do skin color. But here's the post from Steve Miller OC on Twitter or X. Quote, University of California, San Diego announced a policy April 9th to exclude students whose parents are college educated or who make $45,000 or more. The students are prohibited from enrolling in computer science or other selected majors unless spots are available after first generation or low income students enroll. So now we are rationing computer science degrees and, quote, other selected majors. This is insane. Telling people who have earned a spot in a college or university that, sorry, you're not allowed to pursue the degree of your desired degree, unless others who fit the special identity politics or categories that we've set up, unless they're given front of the line. Again, I don't think that colleges and universities are very helpful anyway. These degrees are garbage, but a computer science degree is pretty valuable. So what they're doing is they're taking the valuable degrees and saying that they're going to ration them out. I mean, really? If you have that much demand for these classes, why don't you open up more space in the classes? Surely you can prioritize a computer science degree over a classroom for a gender studies or African studies. Again, I'm not dissing those degrees from the standpoint of knowledge. I'm sure it's quite remarkable knowledge you learn. But it's more of a hobby degree than an actual degree that will get you a good paying job like computer science. Again, I find that this is right out of the Soviet breadline. Instead of providing the basics based on demand, supply and demand, and the more kids that want computer science degrees, a normal organization, a normal institution would just open up another classroom for more computer science students to come in. But no, not UCSD. They want to continue to have that Soviet breadline, limit the supply and dole out those degrees if you meet the right preferred criteria as set by the politicians. Insane. Other states don't do this. And that's why these students will probably go to other schools and we will be losing out. We also have another cut in line bill, which is actually something that I'm curious about your reaction on this. So sound off in the comment section below on whether you think this is a good or bad bill. I think I'll surprise you with my take on it. Let me explain what the bill is first. Here's the headline from Travel Weekly. California state bill would keep CLEAR out of TSA security lines. So CLEAR, and I've seen these kiosks at the airport. I have TSA pre because I travel a lot, and it's very useful. I'm glad I spent the time, and I think there was a fee I had to pay for TSA pre, but it was years ago. It's an added level of security that TSA requires, and then you get a little check mark on your boarding pass, and it allows you to go through a security line that typically is shorter and also has less screening. Like you don't have to take your laptop out of the bag and shoes off and whatever. So I do TSA pre, but apparently there's this company called CLEAR that does basically what TSA pre does, but for the right amount of money that you pay them, they will walk you to the front of the TSA line. Apparently that's how it works. Okay. I'm just, I've never been through it myself, but that's how they say it works. And so it's a private vendor offering this extra layer of background check to verify your identity, which, by the way, TSA Pre already does. TSA Pre does the background check and verifies your identity. But on top of that, Clear has a little gate agent or security line agent that will walk you to the front of the TSA line. Remember, you go through TSA security screening, but Clear allows you to basically butt in line. It is at 9 airports right now in the state of California. And a bill by Senator Janet Nguyen and Josh Newman would basically tell Clear that they're not allowed to provide concierge cut-in-line services through TSA anymore, that they would have to have their own security lane that they would fund at the airport for their customers. Now, Clear says they can't do this because apparently there's not enough demand for their service to justify them staffing 24/7, presumably, or whenever the airport's open, a security line. So they say, well, we should just use the TSA line. Well, hold on a second. So you're making money and you're doing the same thing that TSA does, but you're using their line and cutting in front. So why is it that the taxpayers should facilitate your profit? I'm with this bill. I think that this is a common sense bill. By the way, Clear membership apparently costs $189 annually to get this line cutting privilege. Now, the airlines say that they want this because their travelers, their customers, the ones with the means, like it and it's convenient. It makes a better travel experience. Sure, but you can do TSA Pre. Again, I would have no problem if Clear did this if they were doing their own security line. But I'm paying as a taxpayer for that TSA line. And that TSA line sometimes is pretty damn long. And so I don't think that someone should be able to pay to jump to the front of the line. That's just my thought. Again, I'm a libertarian on this stuff. I just think that this is if government is doing the security screening, you go through the government process. What are your thoughts on this? Should we allow a private vendor to charge people to skip the line? Do you think that's fair? Is that the right role for a private entity to take advantage of giving priority access to a line? Or no harm, no foul? Sound off in the comments below. At Reform California, we are fighting to take back the state from the insanity of the far left. We've got a full plate of campaigns, from blocking tax increases to restoring public safety to electing better school board members and trying to end the Democrat supermajority in Sacramento. But we can't do this without your help. So please go online to reformcalifornia.org, reformcalifornia.org, chip in a contribution, and join the fight. Until next time, Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and smash that notification button so you can stay up to date on all the developments in California news and politics. Also, please visit the website, reformcalifornia.org, for ongoing news coverage and to join one of our campaigns in the fight to take back our state. If you can, please sign up as a volunteer or chip in a contribution. This episode of Reform California with Carl DeMaio, paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly 2024.